Hey guys, so I'm in a different kind of spot today because typically I film on the other side of the room, but last time I did that at this time of day, the lighting was weird and really strange, so we're trying this. But this is going to be a review of Zootopia. I went to go see it last weekend and it was such a good movie, and I went into the movie with really high expectations, which in my Fantastic Beasts video not too long ago I had talked about not having expectations, how I liked not having expectations because I thought it let me enjoy things for what they were more, and I really do try not to have expectations for things. And typically for a movie like this I wouldn't really have expectations. Since it was a Disney movie, I'd probably have like kind of an expectation that it would be more likely to be good, but I wouldn't necessarily like go into it thinking that's going to be amazing or anything like that. The thing was, I had heard a lot of talk about Zootopia before going to see it, and people were talking about how great it was, how it was like the best recent Disney movie and things like that. I read one review that said it was the best Disney movie since like Beauty and the Beast, which is my favorite Disney movie. So it kind of got to me and I started thinking that this must be like a really great movie. And before the movie came out, I really didn't know what to expect from it. I hadn't like read enough about it or watched enough about it or things like that. I had seen a lot of the trailers, but I didn't know that much about the story. I didn't know what to expect. And then when I did finally start hearing reviews and got like a better idea of what it's about, I was like, okay, this sounds like so much better than what I was expecting based on like the trailers and everything, because the trailers make it look like a cute movie and like a fun movie and like something that I would want to see. But hearing all the reviews and realizing that the movie was an allegory, and I became so much more interested than I had before, and I was really excited to see it. And guys, it did not disappoint me at all. I am so in love with it. I've only seen it once at this point, and obviously I'm gonna need to watch it like a million more times. And it's one of those things where like my opinion could change over time, but it's also one of those things where I really don't think it's going to. I'm not saying it's my favorite Disney movie ever. Beauty and the Beast still holds that, and Lion King would probably still be second for me, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Like, it is up there and it's probably going to stay up there for a really long time, if not forever, because it was so good. I think one of the really great things about it was the humor in the movie, which obviously it's a kids movie and like the humor is great for kids. There was one part of the movie where we were like, first of all, like the only people in the theater that didn't have kids like under 10 with us, so that was interesting. But also there was a kid like 2 rows behind us in the movie theater who found the scene at the DMV with the sloths in the DMV, which had been like a trailer in and of itself. They'd like released the scene, so I'm pretty sure at least most of the people in the theater had seen it before. I do not know if this kid had, but he found it so funny that he started loudly laughing as soon as they walked into the DMV, and loudly laughed, like almost hysterically, you know, like when you start laughing and you can't stop laughing. It was like that kind of laughing for the entire DMV scene, to the point that like everyone else in the theater was laughing at the kid who was laughing. So that was an interesting moment. I do think it was like the perfect kind of humor for like kids and adults at the same time. So like there's stuff in it that like both groups would find funny, and I think that was perfectly done on top of like the story itself, which was also amazing, and just is what made the movie so great. Like I think both of those things working together made it like really great. And like without the humor, obviously it still could have been a great story, but bringing those two together, it all just worked so well, and I loved all of it. And obviously it's such like, the entire message of the movie is really pertinent for right now, especially with the presidential election. And it's just one of those things that is like specific to now, and hopefully there will be a time when the message of the movie isn't as like real for the people watching it, and like people will be able to watch this movie and not like have experienced these sorts of things in their own society. But obviously right now it's like such a huge thing, and the fact that Disney made a movie about it is amazing to me. The fact that the movie is like so good is great, and like other people have pointed out that it's not perfect and like everything, but still overall I think it did such a great job. I really kind of want, like, I honestly can't stop kind of like thinking about Animal Farm in my head and comparing it to Animal Farm. It's a very, very different movie, like very different, obviously, and obviously Animal Farm was based on a book and everything like that, and Zootopia isn't based on like specific people, just society as a whole and that sort of thing, so it is different. But using animals as like an allegorical representation of like a social issue sort of thing, like it just really reminds me of Animal Farm. And since it is a Disney movie, it has like a really good chance of becoming a classic. And I remember being in world history class and having to watch Animal Farm when we talked about the Russian Revolution, and I kind of feel like this movie Zootopia could like be that in the future for like the racial issues that are currently going on now, like when kids of the future are learning about them and things like that. And that's really, really interesting to me. Okay, so I just finished filming all of this and then realized that I never like warned about spoilers or anything, but I'm inserting this now. From this point on, I'm going to talk about spoilers and things like that in the movie. And also, I just have to throw it out there that at the point when Nick and Hops are in like the stuck in the thing that was in the floor, whatever you would call it, at the Natural History Museum, and Dawn's like up looking down at them and like talking about how she orchestrated all of this, I'm so, like, in that moment, so thought of her as Donald Trump. And I don't think she's meant to be Trump. Like, I definitely don't, especially considering like when the movie, like when they started working on the movie and everything, I don't think that Dawn is meant to be Trump. Like I said before, I'm pretty sure like there are no specific people in the movie so much as it's just like here's a representation of society as a whole. But at the same time, totally could not like not stop and think about the fact that in that moment she totally seemed to be Donald Trump to me, which is terrifying. It's really, really terrifying when you stop and think about it, and I just had to bring that up. And I also can't end this review without mentioning Hops and Nick's friendship, because I loved that too. I thought that they were like really adorable together. I really love that there's no like romance in the movie. It's really just their friendship. Basically you have this sort of predator-prey thing in the movie, which is obviously symbolizing like racial differences and things like that and racism, and you have that kind of layer to their friendship and how that kind of impedes their friendship, especially at first and things like that, and put that focus on their friendship in the movie was great to me, and just everything about it throughout the movie was great to me, like how it was developed, and the ending was adorable, and I just really, really loved that as well. I think that's all I have to say, but like I said, this is probably going to be one of my all-time favorite Disney movies from now on, because I loved it so much. But I think that's all, so I will see you guys later. Bye.